What's up, kids? I know it's been a while, but I just wanted to welcome you to Beach Kids Sunday School. Adios.
Hello, my name is Sandy. Welcome to Calvary Chapel, Miami Beach. Today I'm going to be reading you a story from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and it's called Filled Full. This is the story about feeding the 5,000, and it comes from Matthew 14, Mark 6, and Luke 9. There were once 5,000 tired and hungry and probably very grumpy people sitting on a hillside wanting their dinner. They'd come to hear Jesus that day. They came before breakfast, stayed all morning, all afternoon, and way past dinner. No one had meant to be out there that long, but that's how long it was. That's how it was listening to Jesus, as if time did not exist. People could listen to Jesus for hours, and on this particular day, that's just what they did. But they hadn't brought enough food, and they couldn't just go and buy themselves a burger and fries to go because, of course, they were in the middle of nowhere. There were no shops, there was no restaurants, and most of the kind of food that we eat today hadn't even been invented yet. So what would they do? Jesus's friends had an idea. Let's send everyone home for dinner. So here is everyone, and they've been there all day listening to Jesus. Here's Jesus, and here's some of the disciples. And then here's this little boy, and he has a basket, and it has some fish and some bread in it. And everybody's hungry, and so they're trying to decide how they're going to feed all these people. So they're telling Jesus, we should just send everybody home so they can get dinner. And Jesus said, they don't need to go. You can give them something to eat. Did Jesus want them to travel all the way to town and buy food for everyone? Jesus' friends panicked, but we don't have enough money. What food do you have? Jesus asked. Go and see. Now there was a little boy in the crowd. He had brought a lunch that his mother had made for him that morning. He looked at his 5 loaves of bread and his 2 fish. It wasn't much, certainly not enough to feed 5,000 people, but it was all he had. I have some food, he said. Jesus' friends laughed when they saw his little lunch. That's not enough, they said, but they were wrong. Jesus knew it didn't matter how much the little boy had. God would make it enough, more than enough. Jesus said, bring me what you have. And so the little boy gave Jesus his lunch. Jesus winked at the little boy and whispered in his ear, just watch. How in the world will Jesus feed everyone with just that? Jesus' friends said, because they thought it was impossible. But Jesus knew the one who made all the fish in the oceans. And Jesus knew the one who in the very beginning had made everything out of nothing at all. So how hard would something like this be for someone like that? So here's Jesus, and he's really proud of the little boy because he had a little bit of food and everyone was hungry, and the little boy gave up what he had to share with others, which was a very loving gesture. So Jesus is looking at him and he's so proud of him for sharing. And so now Jesus is going to take the little bit of food that the little boy offered, and he is going to feed all 5,000 people through faith in God. So here's the loaves and the fish. So let's see what happens. Jesus took the little boy's lunch, looked up to heaven, and thanked his Father. Then Jesus gave the little lunch back to his friends. As Jesus' friends started to hand out the food, guess what happened? It was the strangest thing. No matter how much they broke off, there was always more and more and more. Enough for 5,000 people. Everyone ate as much as they wanted. Second helpings, third helpings, even fourth helpings, until they were full, and still there were leftovers. Well, Jesus did many miracles like this. Things people thought couldn't happen. They weren't natural. But it was the most natural thing in all the world. It's what God had been doing from the beginning, of course. Taking the nothing and making it everything. Taking the emptiness and filling it up, taking the darkness and making it light. So no matter how much, every time they would break off the fish and the bread, it would just keep growing and growing and growing so that there was always enough for everybody. The end. So this is a wonderful story, another story about faith, and another story about being kind and just putting other people ahead of yourself. So just think about it. All these people had been outside all day listening to Jesus, and the time went by very fast because they loved everything that Jesus had to say, but they were all very hungry and they were all very far away from town. So it wasn't easy for them if they were all going to go and get food. And the only person that brought food was this little boy whose mom had packed his lunch. So the little boy could have been selfish. He could have just taken care of only himself and said, nope, this is the food I brought. Sorry, you guys are going to have to figure it out. But he did the right thing. He saw that everybody was hungry. And so when Jesus's disciples said, does anybody have food so that we can share it with others? He gave them his food, even though he was very hungry. So that was the right thing to do. And Jesus blessed him and loved him and was showing his appreciation to him for stepping up. So that little boy gave what he had, and then Jesus turned it into enough food to feed more than 5,000. So think about that as you go through your day. Try to help people, especially now we're getting into the holiday season. And just think of people that are less fortunate than you. Think of people, a lot of people don't have jobs this year because of COVID, or they might not have as much food as they usually do because everything costs more money now, and a lot of people don't have jobs. So when you have something that you can share with others, that pleases God, and that's God using you to bless other people. So try not to miss an opportunity to give up something of yours for someone else, because that truly is God using you to bless others. And then you are going to feel blessed. That's going to make you feel so good that you were able to help somebody else. So just keep that in mind throughout the holiday season, because that's really what these holidays are all about. They're about giving thanks, and they're about putting others ahead of yourself and being a blessing to someone. Have a great day, guys. Love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, we're singing I Have Decided, so come on in and join us. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. He gives me hope for each new day. I'm gonna follow Jesus. He lights my path all along the way. I'm gonna follow Jesus. I will go wherever he leads. I'm gonna follow Jesus. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. He gives me hope for each new day. I'm gonna follow Jesus. He lights my path all along the way. I'm gonna follow Jesus. I will go wherever he leads. I'm gonna follow Jesus. No turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided turning back, no turning back.